All right, welcome back to another episode of ChicksTape Pod. This is a special episode, though. This is not going to be our regular one. My co-host is not with me. Instead, I have a special guest, Trey Daubert, leader of the website at Vendetta Sports Media. Check out the website if you have a chance. But Trey here is a massive Celtics fan, and I'm glad to have him on here to talk about the Celtics. Trey, how you doing?
No P-Boy today.
No, he's not here today.
That's a shame.
Okay. We're not going to get into that. We're good. But it's a good time to be a Celtics fan, no?
I think so. I'm excited.
Yeah,
I was pretty jacked up to watch that game yesterday.
Oh, man.
The refs did a solid to Giannis because apparently you're allowed to just sucker punch dudes in the nuts and stay in the game, but with 5 fouls, but, you know.
I think he had 8 fouls at the end of the game.
It was insane. They just kept letting him stay in the game.
Yeah, and I was just like, I know this is your boy, but man's fouled out. You gotta keep him out sometimes. Like
twice.
Twice, man. It was bad. Speaking of that game, Jason Tatum, that was ugly. It was not there for him today.
I'm not sure if he picked up a basketball in 3 months.
Either that or it's the haircut, man. He needs to go get clean cut, shaven, like. If he was supposed to be clean cut and shaven and that was all his power, he needs to go do that again. Because
the thing that was so fun about watching him through the years is like, I feel like the Celtics have had a lot of good players since I've been a fan. I've never seen someone who like they brought up and I felt like could be a top 5 player in the league. And you just kind of saw it happening.
Yeah.
It was just so fun to watch that. I want to see that again. Yeah. I want to see that transition because when he first came up, I was scared he was like a 16-year-old Carmelo, just taking up jump shots that weren't good, and he was just getting lost. But like the progression that he's made, I felt like we maybe had a top 5 player in the league.
Yeah,
I believe it.
Not right now. I think sooner or later, when the old guys die out, I think he's going to be up there. I really do. You know how Jason Tatum's great, though? He shoots really bad, and people slander him on Twitter. And you know what? That's just he's so young in his career that the fact that people are already bashing and slandering him for one bad shooting night, that just tells you, you know what? You can only be bad, or you can only be great if you have people that hate on you constantly at any cost for whatever reason.
He was shooting his brains out during the year.
He was, and no recognition. One bad shooting night, they're like, this guy's ass. He's ass cheeks.
I'm pretty sure he had the second best player efficiency rating in the Eastern Conference this year.
I couldn't tell you. He's always been efficient. I like Jason Tatum myself. I think he's a hell of a player. I think he might. Yeah, he was the best player in his draft because Markelle Fultz, bust. Not really a bust, just can't shoot with the damn anymore. Lonzo Ball, you can say whatever you want about Lonzo Ball. Jason Tatum's probably the best player in that draft by far.
That's the thing that cracks me up, though. The Danny Ainge haters. It's like, how many good picks and how many times does he just need to keep his team competitive before you just say, hey, the guy knows what he's doing?
Oh, yeah. It's just like he's made so many genius moves over the years. Like, how can you hate that guy? I can't.
I don't get it.
He put this roster together and like, holy shit. And with Gordon Hayward's humongous contract, and they're still have one of the best rosters, I think. At least the top 6 players are one of the best I've seen. Speaking of that, what do you think they're going to do with Gordon Hayward? You think he'll opt in, or?
He has to opt in.
You don't think
the cap's going to go down.
Uh-huh.
Who's going to give him a max contract? He's going to make $34 million next year.
What?
I'm not even 1% worried about it.
Not that I'm worried about it, but I honestly think that you could be a little bit more optimistic. Brad Stevens and Gordon Hayward have their history, at Xavier, I believe, or Butler. Will you stop? You're fine. Come here. A dog's crying. But, yeah, they have their history together. And so I honestly think Brad Stevens could be like, hey, you opt out, we can sign you a little bit less, get another player, and still compete for a championship no matter what happens this year. I think they could win or at least go to the finals this year. And you know what? If they get a little bit more cap room from Gordon Hayward's contract, I think they can go again next year.
I'm not 1% worried about it. Whether he opts in or opts out, I think he'll be a Celtic for another 5 or 6 or whatever years.
Yeah,
Not even slightly concerned.
I think he'll finish with the Celtics, no doubt. I just too much history. But you guys got a great young core already. Jason Tatum, we just talked about him. I love Jaylen Brown too. Jaylen Brown doesn't get nearly enough respect as he is as a two-way player.
He's just so athletic.
He really is. Like he's just there the whole
My
time.
hope for him was to just be Jimmy Butler. Sometimes I want him to be more of a killer. You see it sometimes, but just be Jimmy Butler. If he can be Jimmy Butler, we're gonna be in really good shape.
Oh yeah, I mean, and you know what? Batman always got to Robin. Jason Tatum's Batman. You got your Robin and Jaylen Brown. No matter what happens to the rest of this roster, I love, like I said earlier, the top 6. I love Jaylen Brown, Gordon Hayward, Jason Tatum, Kemba Walker. I love Kemba Walker. Marcus Smart had a hell of a game against the Bucks. You think he's Defensive Player of the Year. And then you got Tease. But the rest of the roster, I'm a little concerned about.
Tease? Who the hell's Tease?
That's how they said that. That's how they were saying his name. I thought
that is not right.
And I was like, that doesn't sound right, but I'm going to go with it as the announcer said, because Lord knows I can't pronounce names.
Marcus Smart has to be the Defensive Player of the Year. He has to be.
Why?
Nobody guards 1 to 5 better that's that tall and does it just everywhere. Nobody lays out like that guy. Giannis tried to back him into the post, and he's deflecting shots. Like, nobody guards like this guy. Nobody. There was a game against Kawhi. He's swatting. He's stealing balls. There was a game against Oklahoma City. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, game's tied. Swipes it from him. Goes down the lane. Scores. Nobody's better than that guy.
Oh, no.
And then we could say, oh, well, you got to give it to the 7-footer. Why? Because he's big? That doesn't make him good defensively.
Anthony Davis is a good defensive player. And so is Giannis. You can't say that. You can't say they're not.
They are, but they're big. Why has it got to go to the big guy?
Because usually
Brook Lopez is good defensively too.
Yeah, but it's usually
Marcus Smart allows Boston to do everything that they do.
That's true. It allows them to play smaller than
Anthony Davis is such a pussy that he's like, I don't want to play center. You're gonna give that guy Defensive Player of the Year, who's such a pussy that literally comes out and says he doesn't want to play center. That's the Defensive Player of the Year.
I mean, to me, I think he'll win it. So, I don't know. You do have a solid case. I will give you that for Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart's a hell of a player. And I've always I never got the Marcus Smart hate earlier in his career. Now, I thought he was always that.
Rudy Gobert has won this award. Have you watched him play Houston? He looks lost. He can't guard anybody who's smaller than him.
He looked bad. He looked bad against the Pelicans. He looked terrible against the Pelicans.
Marcus Smart is the only guy in the league that guards 1 to 5 and does it brilliantly. They played Dallas against Porzingis, and Porzingis was like 1 for 8, and Smart was guarding him. I just don't understand who's better defensively, especially for a guy his size.
For his size, he's probably the best defender, easily. But I don't know. It's usually a big man award. I can't knock that.
That's the problem.
It is. But it's like also MVP award. It's a popularity award. It's not always who's the most valuable player.
That doesn't mean they're good defenders because they're big.
That's true. I'll give you that. But Giannis is a good defender, and he's big. Either way. I mean,
okay. So,
I don't know. You do have a solid case for Marcus Smart, and he should definitely be in the running. I just don't see him winning it.
What is going on with that dog?
She's whining about something. What? You need – all right. What do you want me to do? Come here. All right, don't come here. All right, I'm letting you downstairs. Come on. Go downstairs. Go.
Oh, boy. Well,
my fiance told me to keep the dog upstairs, and so I was like, all right, but I'm going to record this thing. She's like, yeah, she'll be fine. No, I don't think she was fine. She'll be fine now. Where were we? Marcus Smart, yes. I thought Kemba Walker was going to be a little bit more of an impact on the Celtics, to be honest. But he makes good. I think Jason Tatum is like the guy though right now. He's the guy for the Celtics, win or lose. But like, I sometimes forget Kemba Walker's on the Celtics. You know what I mean? Like, the
offense is too stagnant when he's not out there. You saw yesterday, Brad Wanamaker. Nothing happens.
That guy's garbage, man.
Nothing happens. When Kemba Walker's in the game, things move. And they do this thing where Tatum will go into the post and he kind of looks like he knows what he's doing. But then if he's not scoring, the ball just doesn't move. Gordon Hayward takes some possessions, but Walker's the whole igniter for the offense. He has to be out there. Anytime Wanamaker's out there, I want to pull my hair out, the little that I have.
We were talking about it during the game yesterday. That he was just – I watched him. I was like, man, what are you doing? Like, he would drive into 3 people and miss a layup, and then he's like, oh, shit.
I don't understand the incentive to play him. What is the point? Like, if you're going to draft Carson Edwards and he's this high-flying scorer at Purdue that leads his team to the Elite Eight, don't you want to find out if he can play?
At this point, yeah. It's just like,
Tremont Waters was – I forget what award he won. He won, like, one of the G League awards. He was one of the best players in the G League. They called him up a few games. He was terrific. Don't you want to find out if he can play? What's the motivation of trotting out Brad Wanamaker out there where he does dumb turnovers and he travels and nothing good happens? He has a negative plus-minus on the season. Every time he's out there, the Celtics go down. What's the point in playing him?
I don't know. What I would think happened was Brad Stevens went with, okay, this guy's a veteran. We're going against the Bucks. As far if they play a lot of easier teams for the rest of the season games, I don't know their schedule, but I think after Wanamaker's performance, I think they are going to give Waters and they're going to give Carson Edwards a little bit more. They're going to give them a little bit more leash to go out, play, maybe prove themselves. Hopefully, Wanamaker just doesn't play for you guys like come playoff time, at least that much, because I watched that and he was rough. He was rough.
Here's the funniest part about it: the Celtics have 14 players under contract next year. The only one that is not is Brad Wanamaker. So what are we doing here? So what are we doing here? He's the only guy that isn't locked up next year. Why are we playing him?
Oof, that's bad, man. They're instantly better though after next year. They're already better. Just like Wanamaker's just no.
I love Brad Stevens. I don't get that one. I don't get it.
All coaches make mistakes though. You know what? So I'm a big Pop fan, and you know what? I've been criticizing Pop over his rotations, playing Brendan Forbes, Marco Bellinelli. Brad Stevens, as good as a coach he is, he's always going to have some, what the fuck? Like, don't do this. Don't do this no more.
I wish they would play Canner more, to be honest with you.
I thought they should play more, honestly, because Thies, whatever the fuck you say his name, he plays a lot of center minutes, but then when he's off the floor, who gets the center minutes? I don't know enough.
They usually just go to Canner, and if they're lucky, maybe they'll play Robert Williams 10 minutes. That's about it.
Man, I really feel like they should kind of split more minutes between Thies and Canner. Make that a little bit more even, better fatigue for both players.
I wish they would play Canner more because when Kemba Walker's not in the game, the offense is lost, and there's so many possessions where you could just dump it down to Canner because he's great working one-on-one in the post. He can score down low by himself. So when Walker's not in the game, I feel like he's perfect to play with that second unit, but they don't use him. And I know he's bad defensively, but there are ways to cover up for that. Marcus Smart comes off the bench. It just flows so much better that way.
So you saying like when Kemba comes off, and if Marcus Smart's not already on the floor, you put Marcus Smart and his Cantor in, and they'll be fine. So yeah. So hey, that'll fucking work for me. That'll work for me. You know what? If everything you're saying is true right now, hell yeah, fucking go for it. Because to be honest, I've been doing schoolwork. I haven't watched enough basketball, especially Celtics basketball. I just know this top 6. I love it. I love everything about it. There's one player that you've talked about before in the past, and I'm really catching my eye, and especially in that game against the Bucks was I'm gonna butcher this name. Is it Semi? Oh, I don't know. Shimmy, is that what they're saying?
Yeah.
Shimmy
Ojale.
Where's the H? That's Shimmy?
It's not there, but yeah, it is.
I've heard of silent letters. I didn't know there was like imaginary ones. Okay, yeah. Shimmy Olojo. Fuck it. That guy, Shimmy. We're just gonna call him Shimmy. He was you named him previously as the Giannis stopper, right?
Well, he's like one of 5 NBA players that actually goes in the weight room.
Okay.
You can watch him and you don't have to look very far. You're like, who's the guy with big biceps? One of the things that drives me nuts is I work out all the time. I'm not saying you got to be a meathead like everybody else, but if this is your profession, some of these guys look terrible out there. Maybe that's just me being a wrestler my whole life, but Ojale is the one guy I look like. That guy puts his time in. He tries really hard. Yeah. You can see he goes out there and lifts all the time, and they always post videos of him in the gym working out. He's one of the only guys that Giannis tries to do his thing, and he doesn't fall over like a little bitch. Ojale, like, he tries, and he doesn't always win, but at least he looks respectable out there, and he doesn't fall over like a little girl.
I do feel like, if I'm getting paid $1 million to play basketball, I'm going to be doing $1 million work out there. Like, in the gym, get my cardio up. That's why I can't stand James Harden. He just looks like a big meatball that can score. Hate that guy. I don't like him. And so, I don't care how he plays. But I feel like people's cardio, when their cardio is not in shape and they're like already tired, I'm like, what the fuck? You know what? Skinny guys, Steph Curry, as good of a shooter he is, he can't drive if he gets hit, he's done. He's going to the floor. He'll get the foul or whatever, but he's small. So, like, you would think that NBA players would take their job a little bit more seriously. Jimmy Butler, I love Jimmy Butler, takes his job seriously. Shemi goes to the gym every day.
I just wish he would be a lot meaner. I want him to start, like, get a little mean face going.
Yeah, be a little dirty, like hit someone, kind of just give him a shoulder check just to be like, hey, I'm here, because I'm here.
You can tell Mark is smart. He doesn't fuck around.
Oh man,
he'll go outside and beat your ass.
I love
Ojale would prefer not to. He can, but he'd prefer not to, like, get mean and ugly.
I
wish he would sometimes.
That's Steven Adams. I love that. Steven Adams is so big, he's like Ferdinand the Bull. I love Marcus Smart. I love energy like that. Pat Beverly, love energy like that. Those are the type of players that you hate to have to play against, but you love to have them on your team because you know what? They're going to ride for you.
If Ojale would start making his corner threes, because he really can't do much offensively, he would be like a really good role player. His shot just comes and goes. I don't know. I don't even know if he can dribble.
I couldn't tell you. I barely know the guy, to be fair. So, but that's how you recognize him, is the fucking dope dude out there that just goes out there and he's just like, huh. Now, outside of this top six, who would you say is probably their best scorer? Because, that's one thing I have noticed with the Celtics is when, most of these players aren't on the floor. Usually Brad Stevens does a great job at keeping at least one or two on the floor. But when they're not, who would you go to score off that bench? Do you know?
They don't have one.
They don't have one. And would you say that's their biggest need then? Probably.
Honestly, I think the answer is probably Canner, even though
he doesn't have much of an offensive game outside the paint, but just because of his ability to score inside the paint, that makes him the best.
It has to be. Yeah. It has to be because you're looking at guys like Javonte Green, Carson Edwards, Taco Fall still there.
I wish they'd play him more.
There's not this like Lou Williams. They don't have that. Yeah. He doesn't exist.
I don't count Lou Williams off the bench. I hate that shit. Was just play your 6-man, but you play 30 minutes a game. That's not. You're a starter. You're a starter. You just don't get your name called out when they do these starting lineups. I hate that shit. So I consider Lou Williams a starter, but
tomato doesn't bother me.
I don't know, but I would say that's probably their biggest need is an off the bench scorer. I think the answers or the questions about center is already solved because you know what, Tease, whatever. He's been awesome. He's been awesome for the Celtics, and I don't think anyone saw that coming until about midway through the year, and he started showing out. Love that guy.
My question is, I don't actually know how good he is without Brad Stevens.
That's product of, that is product of coaching, though. A lot of Spurs players, they think they're good. Then they go somewhere else. Gary Neal thought he was some hot shit after one good playoff run, went to another team, never heard of him again, ever. So
one of the things that has made Tice so good is, I don't know if you remember watching Marcin Gortat.
Oh yeah.
He does this thing where he gets in the lane, but he'll set a screen down near the basket to allow his guy to drive, but it's almost like he sticks his ass in the air. Like, it's not an actual screen. He'll just get in the way with his ass and allow his guy to go by. It happens constantly. And I know this is something that Brad Stevens has told him to do. But what's made him so good is he gets in the lane. He sticks his ass out there. He'll clip a defender. His guy will go by and score. And then he'll fake that he does it, go around and catch some kind of lob, or he'll get an easy layup. It's made him significantly better.
It's one of those little things that players scout for, but then you could just use it to your advantage. You know what? I think people sleep on how little things just like that can make you a good player.
If you're watching this, go back. Gortat did this all the time. If you want to watch Tice do it, I don't even know what it's called. It's just like he literally sticks his ass out in the lane and he clips dudes all the time and he gets easy buckets.
You know what? And it's one of those things that it's like not big enough for refs to call either. You know what? There's some questionable calls. I know a lot of people have been complaining about the NBA refs, this at least in the bubble already, but that's one of the questionable things that you just don't know if you call or not. So I don't know anything about the NBA draft. I'm not even gonna ask you about that shit. Because this draft is so weak. I guess that's pretty much, their future. Do you know how long they have all 6 of these players off the top of your head?
Well, Jaylen Brown just got his extension.
Right.
Jason Tatum is going to be in the final year of his rookie contract next year. He'll get the max.
Yeah.
Marcus Smart, I believe he has 2 or 3 years left.
I want to say it's 3. I think it's 3. So at least for a couple of years, they're pretty much set. Kemba Walker signed a 3-4 year deal.
He just signed this year, so yeah. So
I mean, so this is a squad they're rolling with for a while, and they're only going to get better. They really are. They're only going to get better, and that's fucking scary. I mean, just when you thought Celtics may have been not very good for a long time, and here they go. Yeah, Danny Ainge, whatever. I don't know how to say his name. I don't know how to say any name, but he's a fucking genius, bro. I mean, when he traded Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett to the Brooklyn Nets for all those fucking picks and just robbed them, and this is.
I remember that day. I remember that day very well. Because my favorite player was Kevin Garnett, just because I'm a psycho, and he's one of the few psychos that's out there. Kevin Garnett was like my favorite guy in Minnesota. I love that guy. So I almost cried when the Celtics traded for him.
Yeah.
When that trade went through, it was a bittersweet day because I knew it was the right thing to do, but I was very sad. Even though
emotional attachment.
Yeah, I knew it was the right thing to do. Don't get me wrong. It was like I was happy, but God, I miss those guys.
Yeah, I mean, but
I love them so much, in fact, that I even bought a Nets version of the shirt.
Wow.
That's how much I love those guys.
Wow, that is sincere love. That really is, man. I hate Father Time. I hated when Tim Duncan retired, Ginobili, Tony Parker. I was like, I cried. I was like, man, I can't do it. Like, those were my guys growing up. But fuck, man, it's crazy. But now they're back in it. They're back in it, 3rd seed.
It's like the sentimental thing,
Oh man,
you have something that you should throw away, but you feel like you got to keep it.
Yeah,
it depends what it is. All my wrestling trophies and medals, it got to a point where I just threw it away.
Yeah. Or didn't you get a broken back from that? From wrestling? Was it from wrestling or?
Yeah, twice.
Oh, God, I can imagine. When you hear people say break their back, I'm like, yeah, they can't walk anymore. That shit scares me. That shit scares the fuck out of me. I couldn't do wrestling.
You don't want to?
No, I don't. I'm too small to do it anyway, I don't think. You know what? Weight class or not, I'm too small for that shit. Don't give me that shit. I think that's it. Is there anything else Celtics related that you?
Well, we didn't talk about the main appetizer here.
Oh, I'm listening.
Which is, it's go time. I'm so fired up to just beat the fuck out of some teams. I can't. I hope they fucking play Philly so bad. I hope they play Philly so bad. I cannot wait for them to play Philly. I hope it happens. I want to slaughter them.
For context, me and Trey before the season we had a bet, and we bet that whoever goes farther in the playoffs, the Celtics or the 76ers would have to give each other $20. So right now, as it's lined up, 76ers and the Celtics would play in the first round. So Trey's a little fired up about it. I'm not as confident as I used to be before the season.
I think they're going to slaughter them. And the best part is going to be watching Al Horford suck. I can't wait to watch him suck. I hated that guy with the Celtics. That's the biggest thing. I know people hate me out there, but, like, I am the least biased person of all time. I hated Al Horford when he played for Boston.
Yeah.
Hated him.
And you can see that now. Just when he's on the 76ers, you're just like, what the fuck are you doing out there, man? And he was like he was regarded really as a really good player with the Celtics and whatever, but now he goes to 76ers. I do partially think a lot of that, some of that is Brett Brown's fault, but a lot of it's Al Horford too. You're wondering what the fuck he's doing out there.
He's not that good.
No.
He was not that good in Boston. Tristan Thompson literally made him look like a bitch in every single playoff series they had. Every single one. The guy can't rebound. The guy can't jump. He can do some things passing and offensively, but it's not valuable. And he can't run.
No,
I don't get it. I don't get it. In a fast-paced NBA, he is utterly worthless.
Yeah. I mean, at least with the 76ers, for me, he was. But I don't know how he would be on another team. I really don't.
The only team I'm even slightly – well, I should say more than slightly. I am worried about the Bucks, but I hope we beat those motherfuckers. I really do. Outside of that, I cannot wait to watch the Celtics slaughter everybody. I can't wait.
I think the top four will be good competition. I do in the Eastern Conference. You got the Bucks, and you just said, and I think the Celtics could beat the Bucks too. I think the Bucks are too focused on Giannis. They're too dependent on Giannis to really go out and win. I think they have a worse roster than they do last year. So it's just like if they didn't have a good roster or a good enough roster last year, I don't know how you win this year. The Raptors are a surprise, but I think they're a really good defensive team, really good team to play against. And the Heat, I think they're too young, not established enough to, really make all the noise in the Eastern Conference, but I think they are a good team. But
the Raptors are sneaky because the Celtics would struggle with anybody who's like really, really like good defensively because Toronto is.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about the Heat at all. If you got a guy like Giannis or Pascal, the Celtics are going to struggle.
Yeah.
But
so like a big defensive power forward is like, would you say that
they'll have some problems with those guys?
Yeah. It's going to be interesting.
Like even Embiid in the past has torched the Celtics. But I'm not – come on, Philly.
It's just I didn't really know there was such a big thing against, Boston and Philly. I really didn't. I guess I was ignorant. I just didn't pay attention to it. But, man, now that, both teams are pretty good, at least, they're in the Eastern Conference, man, that rivalry is stiff, man.
It would be a bigger rivalry with New York, but –
when has New York been good? Honestly, they've been garbage for how long? They're going to sign your boy Fred Van Vliet for a max contract, and I can already see that shit.
It's a shame that I'm the only one that knew he was good, though.
Oh my God, I told you, man. I was like, that one playoff run, Zion, just like Zion. I can't put Zion in anywhere just because of a small sample size. But give me a good enough sample size. I'm like, okay, he's this, he's that. Fred Van Vliet. I said it on the other podcast episode. You listened to it. I was like, I like Fred Van Vliet over Kyle Lowry. But I really just don't like Kyle Lowry. I hate that guy. But I don't know. Just don't think he's as good as everyone says. But
I'm ready to get my heart broken.
I don't know, man.
I'm all the way in.
You know what?
I'm all the way in.
What's considered? Are you championship or bust? Or are you like, okay, they go to the finals and I'm happy?
Yeah, I live my life like Ricky Bobby. If you're not first, you're last.
I love that. Love that. Yes, sir. I mean, it's gonna be good. Who do you got finals?
Clippers
and Celtics.
I think they can beat the Clippers. I'm not confident about it.
But
they stylistically, they match up better with the Clippers than they do the Bucks. 1,000%.
Yeah.
1,000%. They can match those wings. What they can't do is have somebody stop Giannis.
Yeah. Oh man,
they're not long enough to stop Giannis.
Well, I don't blame him. The guy's like, he's like fucking long as hell, lanky.
But even like Philly's got long guys like Simmons and Thibault and Embiid and stuff. They don't have an answer for Giannis. The Celtics don't have an answer for Giannis.
See,
they don't.
And as much as you want to play Philly in the first round,
I
would want Philly to play in the second round or at the fourth or fifth spot, just so they can play the Bucks if they win their matchup. But they got to win that matchup first. And Bucks obviously going to steamroll whoever the A seed is because they're all garbage down there. 7 through 8, it's just garbage, just absolute garbage. So Bucks are already in the second round. And then I hope Philly plays them in the second round because I think that would be a really interesting matchup to watch, especially since Philly built that team to beat the Bucks. But I don't know. That's not what Trey wants. So give Philly to the Celtics first round. They want Philly easy. I
would be more than happy if they got Philly in the conference finals.
You would just to break the heart even more. That's sick, man. That's sick.
That would be fantastic.
That's all right. I can't see 76ers beating the Celtics. I'm already ready to give you $20. I'm just waiting until it's officially gonna happen. But I was big on Philly, and I saw a lot of potential in their lineup, and it just didn't work out. And I
saw it coming. I had the article.
Did you? I can't remember, but
it's on. We can link it in the description. It says, okay. 76ers too big to succeed.
Too big to succeed. I will link that. It will be in the bio after this. That's also on Vendetta Sports Media. Please check out the website. It's a lot of good content on there. We have a new sports store, bunch of podcasts. We got a lot of gaming. We got new gaming videos that are awesome. Backyard football, backyard baseball, a little throwback in there. I love it. Scott, another one of our Vendetta guys, he's starting up a gaming stream, and that features a lot of us going in. It's looking good, man. It's looking good for our website, I'm telling you. I love it. But I think that's going to be everything about the Celtics. Trey's happy about them. They have a great future. They're ready to bust Philly's ass. Trey, do you got anything else?
I'm just ready to get my heart broken. I already know it's coming. I'm all the way in.
I'm going to drink your troubles away if they lose in the finals.
First or last.
Hey, you know what? I'm telling you, Celtics, if they don't get it this year, I think 3-4 years, I think they get at least one. There's no way they don't get one. I think they have a chance.
I hope so.
All right. Please check out the website, Vendetta Sports Media. That's going to be it for this episode. Till next time, guys.